Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bay Area Radio Legends Holiday Party. The first one we've been able to have in 3 years. Count yourself lucky. Yes, sir?
You did not get your introduction.
Oh, damn. Thank you, Mr. Brown. It's nice to be back at the Basque. It really is. Nice old friends, nice intimate group. That's a nice way of saying small. But a whole bunch of old friends. David Louis here. Yay! Yeah, in fact, I'm going to put him to work in a minute. John Sanchez is here taking a break from hurricane duty. And the family of the late Gloria Duffy is here. Gloria Duffy and her husband Roger Duffy. Tomorrow would have been Gloria Duffy's 99th birthday. And we were talking and I said, she's here. She's here. We know it. Anyway, also is Juana Montgomery, who came in from the East Coast. Thanks for bringing us the weather. She spent 10 years at KTO when it was #1, when it was really a radio station. We won't say anything. As you're getting settled, if you'd be so kind as to place that little ticket, the little lunch ticket, on the table in front of you. It's going to help the wait staff as they come around and figure out who gets what. The wine will magically appear. I know it. Because I know it's paid for. So the bar also, as always, will remain open throughout the afternoon. Not that anybody in this group is known to drink adult beverages. Yeah, right. First order of business is to call upon our friend from the California Historical Radio Society, Len Shiro, a little report on what's doing with the people at CHRS. And if you haven't been to their place in Alameda, you gotta go. You gotta go. Yeah. I mean, there are more old-time radios and stuff there. It'll take you half a day to get through it. Okay, go. That's all I got.
That's enough. Same problem as last time. Thanks, everybody. Steve Cushman sends his regards. He is not feeling well. He got the COVID shot and a shingle shot, and he's not feeling up to par. So he sends his regards. But he wanted us to remind you that we have our social next Saturday at 1:30 at CHRS. It's a potluck, so bring some good food, and we'll have everything. I have a tour of what's been updated at the Radio Museum. Everything is looking pretty good these days. We've got the television section downstairs. The Hall of Communication is improving quite a bit, so please come by. Also, to check out the studio that we have there. We're going to start digitizing stuff there. And if you have some items you'd like digitized, please bring them by. We also have the shop over there. If you have an old radio that may not be working, we ask for a donation, but bring it by and we'll see if we can fix it for you. So that's next Saturday, December 17th, 1:30. Also, the Hall of Fame ballot is on the website now. If you want to go to CHRS, you will go to the Hall of Fame tab, and there's a form to fill out for your nominations for the upcoming year for the Bay Area Radio Hall of Fame 2023. So that's the latest, and thanks everybody. Enjoy your lunch. Thank you.
25 years as a linebacker for the 49ers. That's as we do at all our luncheons, we take a few moments to remember our friends and colleagues who have passed since last we met. One of the pioneers of California rock and roll radio, who got his start in San Francisco, died October 7th. His real name was Arthur Enoigan, but millions of listeners knew him as Art LeBeau. He created the phrase, oldies but goodies, back in 1858. Here I graduated. After serving in World War II and graduating from Stanford, he got a job at the old KSAM in the 50s. He moved on to LA, and by 56 had his afternoon show on KXLA, the city's top rated radio program. He went on to form his own record company, and in 1958 put out Oldies But Goodies, Volume 1. How many of you ever saw that? Yeah, right. Anyway, it stayed on the Billboard Top 100 chart for 3.5 years. His last syndicated show was produced just a few days before his death from pneumonia. Art LeBeau was 97. Eugene Louis Gelhar. Heard part of that name. He died in Burlingame, September 11th. Gelhar worked in radio for over 50 years, starting in Kansas City, doing radio theater, then moving on as a DJ for the Armed Forces Radio on the island of Okinawa, after we got it back. Finishing his hits, he made his way here, where he got a job at the Bay Area's first rock and roll radio station, KEWB, which in later years became KNEW. Those are but two of the call letters associated with Gelhar. At KNAI, KYUU, KFRC, and KCBS, and you have a picture of a man who served as the Bay Area as a reporter, a newscaster, and a news director for more than 40 years. Gelhar was 92. And now you know.
Thank you.
Hank Soroyan, the Emmy-winning producer-director who got his professional start as a writer on the anniversary game produced at KGO-TV, died of cancer on September 23rd. Hank's dad, Henry, was the long-time controller at KGO. And his uncle was, of course, the famed novelist and Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright and short story writer, William Soroyan. Hank moved on from Channel 7 to Dick Clark Productions and then to cartoon producers Hanna-Barbera, where he won an Emmy for The Muppet Babies. He won another Emmy, this time at ABC, for directing The Parsley Garden, a short story written by his Uncle Hank, adapted for television. Hank Soroyan, friend in this room, was 75. Finally, Bob Baldock wasn't a man to sit on the sidelines. Born in Dayton, Ohio in 1937, he lived on and off an itinerant life, is what they called it in those days. In 1958, he made his way to Cuba and into the ranks of Fidel Castro's guerrilla movement. Wounded during an assault, he almost died of dysentery, and with help from the guerrillas and Castro himself, he was able to make his way back to Havana and on to Miami. It was a time of the beat movement, and after hanging out in New York with writers and artists, he headed west, where he ended up in Berkeley, working in a bookstore. Over time, his interest in books and their creators led him to book authors for a series of lectures that ultimately aired on KPFA. It became known as KPFA Events, and brought writers in from all over the world. Became known, it's still a part of the listener-supported radio station to this day. But its creator and driving force, afflicted by congestive heart disease, died on October 23rd in Berkeley. Bob Baldock was 85. A moment, if you will. Thank you. Another regular feature of our lunches is the vintage newscast. Now, I must admit that the original schedule was that Susan Lee Taylor would be joining Don Sanchez to do the news. She called last night, "Will the flagship sounded like this?" And so she said she couldn't be here. That also happened to Michael Bennett, who was one of our actors in the show this afternoon. So some of us do a little double duty when we get to that part. He's also down with whatever this is that is going around that we don't want, that Sam Van Zant's already gone through and his wife. Anyway, we bring to you stories from long ago, most deserving, some maybe not so much, but interesting nonetheless, made especially worthy by the presentation of our newscasters. Today we're graced by two long-time broadcasters. place of the aforementioned Susan Lee Taylor, I am proud to present David Louie, who just retired after 7,000 years as state TV. He is a member of the Silver Circle and the Gold Circle at Mattis. And after toiling on Golden Gate Avenue and Front Street, wearing a Circle 7 pin to report news and sports and every now and then the weather, straight from his new Florida home, we have Don Sanchez. In honor of today's radio play, we are going back 73 years to get caught up on the news from 1949. Gentlemen.
Well, so much for retirement. Here I am working again. I'm David Louie, Don Sanchez. We both started at Channel 7 the same year, 1972.
Yep.
We have never co-anchored together. So this is the first. This is the first.
We still remember how to read these things.
Well, we're going to give it a try. Where's the teleprompter?
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Well, shall we get started?
And the news director telling you you can't do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, in international news, the Soviet Union's blockade of Berlin, which began in June 1948 and was immediately followed by the American airlift of food and supplies into the beleaguered city, came to an end on May 12th, when the Soviets realized their efforts were unsuccessful in breaking up the Allies' reunification of West Germany. The airlift, which brought in between 5,000 and 8,000 tons of supplies a day, went on for another 4 months in order for the West Germans to stock up on supplies, just in case the Soviets decided to try the blockade again, but they never did.
Also in Europe, in April, the U.S. and 11 other Western nations gathered to sign what was called the North Atlantic Treaty. It became known as NATO, an alliance of non-communist countries, which today has more than 30 members. Meanwhile, on the other side of the globe, the leader of what was once called Red China, Mao Zedong, established the People's Republic of China after the leader of the Nationalist government, Chiang Kai-shek, fled to Taiwan and set up a government in exile. We know it's still there.
Indeed. Well, here at home, a U.S. Air Force crew flying a propeller-driven Boeing B-50 Super Fortress successfully completed the first non-stop circumnavigation of the world. Captain James Gallagher and his crew of 14 took off from Carswell Air Force Base in Fort Worth on February 27th, flying west to east. Now, after flying 23,452 miles and having been refueled in the air 4 times, they landed back in Fort Worth on March 2nd, 94 hours and 1 minute after they took off. That held the record for an around-the-world flight until 1957, when a jet-powered Boeing B-52 flew the journey in 45 hours and 19 minutes, cutting the old record by more than half. The current record of 31 hours and 27 minutes was set by an Air Force Concorde with 98 passengers aboard in August of 1995.
31 hours sounds like my flight from Florida to here every time I get back. It takes forever. On January 20th, Harry Truman was inaugurated to a full term as President of the United States. After, well, obviously the United States, where else would he be president? After having assumed the office in April of 1945 upon the death of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. In his inaugural address, he proposed a 4-point plan to help the world's less developed areas. History records a little of it, I'm afraid. Inflation, listen to some of these numbers. Inflation in 1949 was minus 0.95. A gallon of gas was 19 cents a gallon. Average for a new house was $7,450. An average new car would set you back $1,420. The minimum hourly wage was 70 cents an hour. Sliced bacon was 55 cents a pound. Bleach was 21 cents a gallon. Coffee was 85 cents for a 2-pound bag, and it certainly was not Starbucks. The average wage in 1949 was $2,950 a year. Sounds like hardly getting out. And the U.S. population then was just a shade over 149 million.
70 cents minimum wage? That sounds about what we were making
Exactly
right
right.
there. Well,
When the union dues helped, yeah.
Yeah, that's true, you're right. Well, in the entertainment world, one of the first long-running and successful sitcoms, The Goldbergs, first aired live on CBS on January 17th, the day before our Legends president turned 8. The show was created, written, produced, directed, and starred in by Gertrude Berg, who had begun the show on radio in 1929. The show ran until 1956. The first Emmy Awards were handed out in January on the January 25th, with Pantomime Quiz Time earning top honors as the most popular television program. Those were indeed simpler times. You didn't need sound for that, right? Well, a Pulitzer Prize went to Arthur Miller for his drama Death of a Salesman, and George Orwell's 1984 was published.
At the movies, 12 O'Clock High and The Third Man came out, as did All the King's Men and The Sands of Iwo Jima. In other popular culture, the first 45 RPM, blank, of course, came out in January. And speaking of records, the hits that year were Ghost Riders in the Sky, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, all big hits. The first Polaroid instant camera came out, and it was a whopping $89.95. It was a lot of money back then. Silly Putty went on sale in plastic eggs for $1 a piece, and the first Volkswagen Beetle was sold in the United States.
I remember those.
Yeah, I really hope so.
Well, anybody here born around 1949? High school, all right. Well, then you were around when these people were born in 1949. Think about this. Jeff Bridges, Meryl Streep, Lionel Richie, Vera Wang, Bruce Springsteen, Sigourney Weaver, Patrick Duffy, and Gloria Gaynor. So, pretty impressive.
And they all have survived.
They have.
The Yankees beat the Dodgers 4-1 in the World Series. The Minneapolis Lakers defeated the Washington Capitals in the NBA Finals. Toronto bested Detroit for the Stanley Cup. A horse named Ponder won the Kentucky Derby. Kentucky took the NC2A basketball title over Oklahoma A&M. And Notre Dame won the NCAA football title. Sorry to hear that.
Well, that mercifully is the end of the Legends headlines for today. John, great job. This was written by no one special, although he's sort of lurking in the background here. And chances of it ever being rebroadcast are slim to none. And we hear Slim just died.
I don't believe that, yes. You're David Louie, I'm Don Sanchez, and now we turn you back to, what's his name?
Yeah.
Walks pretty well for an old guy. Thank you, David. I got word a moment ago, this just in, one of us is having a birthday today. Yeah. It would be Miss Linda Odom. Woo! For those of you who don't know, when we started the Legends Old Time Radio Players, Dan was the moving force behind it. He was the director and the producer and starred in many of them. And Linda Odom was our chief sound effects person. And it was a lot of fun those days. Let's do that again. Nice to see you, my dear. Happy birthday. Enjoy it. Where'd you get that one? Enjoy your lunch, ladies and gentlemen. We'll continue this scintillating program on the other side. Oh, thank you, Mr. Brown. Hope you enjoyed your lunch. Thank you. Over here at the back, your son? Back. Go time at the house. Right back. The bar is open. Will remain that way for those of you who get that. The readers of the New York Sunday World got a very unexpected treat when they opened their paper on December 10th of 1905. It was a short story by a man who spent time writing while serving 5 years in an Ohio penitentiary for embezzlement. Released in 1901, he made his way to New York. So using the pen name O. Henry, he cranked out stories by the hundreds. But it was that story that appeared on that Sunday in 1905 that made him famous, even to this day. Here now is the legend's resident storyteller, Dan Odom, with The Gift of the Magi.
Well, 'tis the season, and there is always the advent of frantic scurrying on the part of most people to celebrate the Christmas season in the most meaningful and satisfying way they can. This great poet, O. Henry, chronicled this in what has become a most poignant story befitting the season, The Gift of the Magi. $1.87. That was all. And 60 cents of it was in pennies. Pennies saved 1 and 2 at a time by bulldozing the grocer and the vegetable man and the butcher until one's cheeks burned with the silent imputation of parsimony that such close dealing implied. 3 times Della counted it. $1.87, and the next day would be Christmas. There was clearly nothing to do but to flop down on the shabby little couch and howl. So Della did it, which instigates the moral reflection that life is made up of sobs, sniffles, and smiles, with sniffles predominating. And while the mistress of the home is gradually subsiding from the first stage to the second, let's take a look at the home. A furnished flat at $8 a week. Did not exactly beggar description, but it certainly had that word on the lookout for the mendicancy squad. In the vestibule below was a letter holder into which no letter would go, and an electric button from which no mortal finger could coax a ring. Also appertaining thereunto was a card bearing the name Mr. James Dillingham Young. The Dillingham had been flung to the breeze during a former period of prosperity when its possessor was being paid $30 a week. Now, when the income was shrunk to $20, the letters of Dillingham looked blurred, as though they were thinking seriously of contracting to a modest and unassuming deed. But whatever Mr. James Dillingham Young came home, and whenever he came home, and matched and reached for his flack above, he was called Jim, and greatly hugged by Mrs. James Dillingham Young, already introduced to you as Della, which is all very good. Well, Della finished her cry, and she attended to her cheeks with the powder rag, and she stood by the window and looked out over a gray cat walking those gray pits in a gray backyard. Tomorrow would be Christmas Day. And she had only $1.87 with which to buy Jim a present. She'd been saving every penny she could for months with this result. $20 a week doesn't go for very far. Expenses had been greater than they had calculated. They always are. Only $1.87 to buy a present for Jim. For her, Jim, many a happy hour she had spent planning for something nice for him. Something fine and rare and sterling. Something just a little bit near to being worthy of the honor of being owned by him. You know, there was a pier glass between the windows of the room. And perhaps you have seen a pier glass in an $8 flat. A very thin and very agile person may, by observing his reflection in a rapid sequence of longitudinal strips, he can observe a fairly accurate conception of his looks. Della, being slender, had mastered the art. Suddenly, she whirled from the window and stood before the glass. Her eyes were shining brilliantly, but her face had lost its color within 20 seconds. Rapidly, she pulled down her hair and let it fall to its full length. Now, there were two possessions of the James Dillingham Youngs in which they both took a mighty pride. One was Jim's gold watch that has been his father's and his grandfather's. And the other was Della's hair. Had the Queen of Sheba lived in the flat across the air shaft, Della would have let her hair hang out the window someday to dry, just to depreciate her Majesty's jewels and gifts. Had King Solomon been the janitor with all his treasures piled up in the basement, Jim would have pulled out his watch every time he passed, just to see him pluck at his beard from envy. So now, Della's beautiful hair fell about her, rippling and shining like a cascade of brown water. It reached below her knee, and it made itself almost a garment for her. And then she did it up again quickly, nervously, and once she faltered just for a minute and stood still, while a tear or two splashed on the worn red carpet. On went her old brown jacket, on went her old brown hat, with a whirl of skirts and with brilliant sparkle still in her eyes, she fluttered out the door and down the stairs to the street. Where she stopped, the sign read, Madame Sofroni, hair goods of all kinds. One flight up Delta ran and collected herself panting. Madame, large, too white, chilly, hardly looked the Sofroni. Will you buy my hair? Asked Della. I buy hair, said Madame. Take your hat off and let's have a sight at the looks of it. Down rippled the brown cascade. $20, said Madame, lifting the mask with a practiced hand. Give it to me quick, said Della. Oh, and the next 2 hours tripped by on rosy wings. forget the hashed metaphor. She was ransacking the stores for Jim's present. She stood it and found it at last. It surely had been made for Jim and for no one else. There was no other like it in any of the stores, and she had turned all of them upside down and inside out. It was a platinum fob chain, simple and chaste in design, properly proclaiming its value by substance alone, and not by meretricious ornamentation, as all good things should do. It was even worthy of the watch. As soon as she saw it, she knew that it must be Jim's. It was like him, quietness and value. The description applied to both. $21 they took from her for it, and she hurried home with the 87 cents. With that chain on his watch, Jim might be properly anxious about the time in any company. Grand as the watch was, he sometimes looked at it on the sly because of the old leather strap that he used in place of a chain. When Della reached home, her intoxication gave way a little bit to prudence and to reason. She got out her curling irons and lighted the gas and went to work repairing the ravage made by generosity added to love, which is always a tremendous task, dear friends, a mammoth task. Within 40 minutes, her head was covered with tiny, close-lying curls that made her look wonderfully like a truant schoolboy. She looked at her reflection in the mirror long, carefully, and critically. "If Jim doesn't kill me," she said to herself, "before he takes a second look at me, he'll say I look like a Coney Island chorus girl." But what could I do? Oh, what could I do with $1.87? At 7 o'clock, the coffee was made and the frying pan was on the back of the stove, but hot and ready to cook the chops. Jim was never late. Della doubled the fob chain in her hand and sat on the corner of the table near the door that he always entered. And then she heard his step on the stair away down on the first flight, and she turned white for just a moment. She had a habit of saying little silent prayers about the simplest everyday things, and now she whispered, "Please, God, make him think I am still pretty." The door opened and Jim stepped in and closed it. He looked thin and very serious. Poor fellow, he was only 22 and to be burdened with a family. He needed a new overcoat and he was without gloves. Jim stopped inside the door as immovable as a setter at the scent of a quail. His eyes were fixed upon Della, and there was an expression in them that she could not read, and it terrified her. It was not anger, nor surprise, nor disapproval, nor horror, nor any of the sentiments that she had been prepared for. He simply stared at her fixedly with that peculiar expression on his face. Della wriggled off the table and went for him. "Jim, darling," she cried, "don't look at me that way. I had my hair cut off and I sold it because I couldn't have lived through Christmas without giving you a present. It'll grow out again. You won't mind, will you? I just had to do it. My hair grows awfully fast. Say Merry Christmas, Jim, and let's be happy. You don't know what a beautiful, nice gift I've got for you." "You've cut off your hair?" asked Jim, laboriously, as if he had not arrived at that fact yet, even after the hardest mental labor. "Cut it off and sold it," said Della. "Don't you like me just as well anyhow? I'm me without my hair, ain't I?" Jim looked about the room curiously. "You say your hair is gone?" he said, with an air almost of idiocy. "You needn't look for it," said Della. "It's sold, I told you. Sold and gone too. It's Christmas. It's Christmas Eve, boy. Be good to me, for it went for you. Maybe the hairs of my head were numbered," she went on with sudden serious sweetness, "but nobody could ever count my love for you. Shall I put the chops on, Jim?" Out of his trance, Jim seemed quickly to wake. He enfolded his Della. For 10 seconds, let us regard with discreet scrutiny some inconsequential object in the other direction. $8 a week or $1 million a year, what is the difference? A mathematician or a wit would give you a wrong answer. The Magi brought valuable gifts, but that was not among them. This dark assertion or assertion will be illuminated a little later on. Jim drew a package from his overcoat pocket and threw it upon the table. "Don't make any mistake, Dell," he said, "about me. I don't think there's anything in the way of a haircut or a shave or a shampoo that could make me like my girl any less. But if you'll unwrap that package, you may see why you had me going a while at first. White fingers and nimble tore at the string and the paper. And then an ecstatic scream of joy, and then, alas, a quick feminine change to hysterical tears, and necessitating the immediate employment of all the comforting powers of the Lord of the flat. For there lay the combs, the set of combs, side and back, that Della had worshipped long in a Broadway window. Beautiful combs, pure tortoiseshell, with jeweled rims, just the shade to wear in the beautiful vanished hair. They were expensive combs, she knew, and her heart had simply craved and yearned over them without the least hope of possession. And now they were hers, but the tresses that should have adorned the coveted adornments were gone. But she hugged them to her bosom And at length she was able to look up with dim eyes and a smile and say, "My hair grows so fast, Jim." And then Della leaped up like a little singed cat and cried, "Oh, oh, oh!" And Jim had not yet seen his beautiful present. She held it out to him eagerly upon her open palm. The dull, precious metals seemed to flash with a reflection of her bright and ardent spirit. "Isn't it a beauty, Jim? I hunted all over town to find it. You'll have to look at the time 100 times a day now. Give me your watch. I want to see how it looks on it." Instead of obeying, Jim tumbled down on the couch and put his hands under the back of his head and smiled. "Dale," said he, "let's put our Christmas presents away and keep them for a while. They're too nice to use just at present. I sold the watch to get the money to buy your comb. And now you suppose you just put the chops on it." The Magi, as you know, were wise men, wonderfully wise men, who brought gifts to the babe in the manger. They invented the art of giving Christmas presents, and being wise, their gifts were no doubt wise ones, possibly bearing the privilege of exchange in case of duplicity. And here I have lamely related to you the uneventful chronicle of two foolish children in a flat who most unwisely sacrificed for each other the greatest treasures of their house. But in a last word to the wise of these days, let it be said that of all those who give gifts, these two were the wisest. Of all who give and receive gifts, such as they are wisest. Everywhere they are wisest. They are the Magi.
Daniel. A few years ago, here at the Basque, the legends were first treated to an appearance by Elvis. He sang Blue Christmas and some other little ditties. He was backed up by Kurt Huget and the late George Yamasaki. They became an annual part of the holiday lunches, but we've missed them the last couple of years as COVID has prevented our getting together at all. But it's another year. And though we lost George Yamasaki in February, we are happy to present Denton Torres, Kurt Huget, and Rachel Garland.
Sounds like we have a band here. Thank you, Peter. I'm just glad that I didn't wear the same sweater that you did. It was a close call in my closet. Often is in my closet. Thanks to Dr. Odom, too, for his magnificent reading of The Gift of the Minoxidil. So as Peter kind of hinted, this is, we've been here a long time. 12 years, I think, or 12 times, I guess, over, since 2009, when I first did a karaoke version of Blue Christmas. I'm still doing it, not karaoke, but the Legends Luncheons. Anyway, we began with an Elvis song, as we often do, one that hit the charts in December of 1961. So with Kurt Houget and Rachel Garland, here we go. Let's talk more music. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my left hand, take my whole life too. Falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too. I can help falling in love with you, for I can help falling in love with all 75 of you. Thank you very much. You know, a couple of years ago, the Chronicle canceled my column. You hadn't noticed? Someone just came up and said, "Hey man, I'm digging your column. Really enjoy it. I really keep up with stuff going on." Yeah, well, sort of sadly, there isn't that much to keep up with. You know, in terms of radio today, the big news, of course, was the death, the killing, the decimation of the legendary station KGO. And I know. Unless, of course, you were hoping that it would become a station for sports bettors. Mickey Lukoff must be spinning in. Wait, no, he's still alive. He's still spinning, I'm sure. And then there's Live 105, which became Dave Radio, which constantly reminds you that it's a random mix of music. But of course, the randomness sounds heavily formatted. And of course, there are no live DJs. Ah, radio, radio, radio. Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but my ratings have been delightful. I really do love my show. Radio, radio, radio. I just received the memo. I'm tops in Target demos. If only I had some dough. Radio, radio, radio.
On the air, you're such a hit. All your tracks go together so well. You go in and track your bits. Most of your listeners can't tell.
I'm only paid a pittance. Complain and it's good riddance. I'm lucky to have a show. Radio, radio, radio.
Everywhere you get high praise. All your tracks fall together so well. When you go in for a race, management says go to hell.
It's not just the pandemic. It seems to be systemic. The salaries are so darn low. Radio, radio, radio. That damn song, huh? Too true. Well, we're about halfway through our little set here, and we haven't done a holiday song yet, so let's fix that. You thought you were just getting salmon today? Oh yeah, holiday song. So how about you guys get in the holiday spirit too and sing along where appropriate. All right, wherever you want to actually. All right. That's nice. City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air, there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. And on every street corner, you'll hear silver bells, silver bells, silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, ring-a-ling, hear them ring, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Strings of street lights, even stoplights, blink a bright red and green as shoplifters rush home with their booty. Hear the snow crunch, see the kids bunch. This is Santa's big scene. And above all the bustle, you'll hear everybody. Silver bells, silver bells, silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in South City. And living, ring a bell, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. As I said before, soon it will be Christmas Day. And the same to you. Next time. Russ the Moose would say. What? Yes, that's right, the same to you. Well, it says here, I have had a busy couple of years. A documentary about me called Like a Rolling Stone came out last year. It played the various film festivals from Tribeca to Mill Valley. It won about a half a dozen awards and is now streaming on Netflix, as Peter said. Yeah, Netflix. Subscribe, free trial. see the thing, cancel. That's what Diane and I do with everything. Disney Plus, Paramount, Peacock. Oh God, too much. BritBox. All right. Anyway, Almost Famous, the movie that had me as a real-life character, is now on Broadway. A musical is on Broadway right now. And I got a chance to plug the documentary while doing a chat with Cameron Crowe about the musical. In the last issue of, no, not Rolling Stone, but close, AARP Bulletin. That is wild, weird stuff. Yeah. I once wrote for a hip magazine, now I'm writing for a magazine about hip replacements. But they got 32 million readers, so I cannot complain. Brings more eyes to Moon Alice Radio. Let's see, let's do a song about getting older, AARP. Yeah, let's do that. But it's a familiar song, I believe, even as we do it. Okay, here we go. We were once big rockers, now we're using walkers, and we got our nurses on call. We were daredevils, but now we're careful to make sure that we don't fall. We take plenty of meds and need help getting fed, but we still have our vanity. So you can bet you when we want our picture on the cover of AARP. Want to see my picture on the cover? I'll be proud to show it to my mother, but she won't know my face on the cover of AARP. Well, I got quite snippy when I turned age 50 and they sent me that magazine. I had my band and most of my hair, we still were part of the scene. As the years go on and the groupies are gone, here's what I heard, fell off the scene. We still got our mojo, we get our photo on the cover of AARP. Wanna see my picture on the cover? I'll be proud to show it to my mother, but she won't know my face on the cover of AARP. We used to play big places, make a whole lot of money. We couldn't believe our deals. Now we're here to do 5 songs and getting paid with plates of veal. Once we're in our band, you will hear us rant all the way to our facility. We feel better quicker if we got our picture on the cover of AARP. Want to see my picture on the cover? I'm proud to show it to my mother. She won't recognize me on the cover of AARP. On the cover of AARP. Yeah, we got paid in veal.
How does it feel to be paid in veal?
It's a steal.
Call that a meal? $45 is a steal.
How much would it cost, by the way? We're the performers, so we don't have to pay, but what did it cost you? 45, 55? Yeah, we should pick at Darrell Compton's house sometime.
How do you think he gets on a cruise?
All right, we're going to close with a song that landed me this incredible gig every year. Kurt and I always did this one, Blue Christmas, with the wonderful George Yamasaki on keyboards. We lost him, as Peter mentioned, earlier this year, and I'm just glad that we had a chance to do one more show post-pandemic on the USS Hornet in Alameda last December. George managed to get on board. We had fun playing music. He had a chance to listen to the Royal Society Jazz Orchestra, and that was it. We are all having a bluer Christmas because we don't have George, but we have each other. Here we go. Huh?
I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue just thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't be the same, dear, if you're not here with me. When those are blue snowflakes start falling, and so when those are blue memories start calling, you'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white. Hi, Aurora. But I'll have a blue, 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 blue Christmas.
I'll have a blue Christmas, that's certain. And when that blue heartache starts hurting,
You'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white. But I'll have a blue, 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 blue Christmas. Yeah, I'll have a blue, 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 blue Christmas.
Kurt Boucher on guitar. Also, Rachel Garland. Check her out. RachelGarland.com. Lovely music. Original and covered. Thank you for having us again. Happy holidays. Stay healthy. Stay well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Jim, Rich, and George. It's going to take us a couple of minutes here to rearrange things.
Put the other microphone on stage.
Yeah, we'll get it. Over the years, we've done several Christmas high-themed recreations of old-time radio shows. This year, we're going to roll back the clock to 1949. A story about what happens when a newspaper reporter and his photographer partner are sent off on a Christmas errand by the boss's wife. What? In New York. On Christmas Eve. Right. In our cast today are Sam Van Zandt, Ruth Jeanette, Cynthia Edwards, Rosie Lee Allen, a guy named Cleveland, and via the magic of recording, Matt Elmore. Sit back, relax, close your eyes. The theater of your mind will take over. Draw the pictures for you. It's coming up on 3 o'clock in the afternoon in New York City. Outside the NBC studios and Rockefeller Center, it's snowing as last-minute shoppers go about their errands. A few hearty souls are ice skating beneath the giant Christmas tree. Inside the famous Art Deco building in Studio 6A, it's a warm 72 degrees. cast is assembled. Out in the hall, the standby light goes on. The engineers have checked their equipment over and over. The producer and the director and technicians and a few invited guests are in a mid-level control room looking down on the studio. They're insulated by double-pane windows. The second hand on the large studio clock above those windows is making its way to the top of the hour. It's time to go to work. 5, 4, 3.
The National Broadcasting Company presents Radio City Playhouse.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here with our very best wishes is our Christmas Day broadcast, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" by Paul Gallico on the Radio City Playhouse. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, December 24th, in the city room of the Daily Blade. Almost everyone has gone home. A couple of office boys are yawning on the call bench. 3 rewrite men are pecking away on their typewriters and watching the clock. At the head of the room, Tex Court, the city editor, is talking earnestly on the telephone with a haunted look on his face. Near the door, Perry Brown, the Daily Blade's top reporter, is chatting with Al Vogel, his photographer. They're both about to leave for Rusty's party when Perry's telephone rings.
Hello, Perry Brown. Oh, hi, Rusty. Yeah, we're just leaving. Yeah, we're all cleaned up. Did the tree come? Ah, good. No, Vogel's sitting on my desk. We'll leave together. Oh, honey, I'm going to trim that tree with diamonds, rubies, and sapphires.
Yeah, that'll cut into your paycheck.
Vogel says that that's going to run into some big bucks. Huh? Oh, darling, if you play Holy Night, I'll cry. Yes, I will. I get very sentimental about Christmas. Vogel will cry too, won't you?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, we'll all cry, and it'll be a wonderful party. Now, sweetie, don't worry about Christmas tree fires. They won't break out till about 9 o'clock. And besides, I'd quit before I miss the party. Okay. Anything you want me to bring? Just me. Okay, love you.
Hey, why don't you just marry the girl and put her out of her misery, all right?
I'm working on it. By this time next year. Come on, Al. Let's get out of here.
Right behind you.
Yeah, let's go say Merry Christmas to Ted. What do you say?
That's a great idea.
Come on, then. Rusty is about as excited about this party as a 5-year-old kid. Our first real planned party.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yes, Mrs. Pettingsaw. I understand. I'm sure we can take care of it. By 11 o'clock at number 3 Courtney Towers. Harnessed to the wagon. Yes, I understand.
Oh, Mrs. Pettingsall?
It's all right, Mrs. Pettingsall. I'll keep in touch with you. Yes. Same to you. Goodbye.
Al and I are just leaving, Tex. Merry Christmas, and try to make it to Rusty's party if you can, will you? Okay, what's the matter?
Perry, I really meant to let you and Al go, but something unforeseen has come up.
Oh, no, you promised us the night off.
Yeah, you did, Tex.
I know. You get to Rusty's party later. Did you hear any of that telephone conversation I just had?
You mean Miss Pettingsall?
Tex.
Her nephews have arrived unexpectedly, and she wants a Christmas present for them.
Oh, no.
She wishes us to secure a pair of goats for her.
Oh, goats?
Harnessed to a red wagon.
Oh, you've got to be kidding.
Harnessed
Goats?
to a red wagon.
Is she crazy? Where are you going to find a couple of goats Got a red wagon on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, where are you gonna find a couple of them?
Where do you mean you are going to find it?
Come on now, Tex, no.
You'll be all right if the outfit arrives at number 3 Courtney Towers by 11 o'clock tonight.
I won't do it. I promised Rusty.
And I promised the wife of our editor and managing director that I'd get her 2 goats.
All right, we quit, don't we, Al?
Oh, absolutely.
We told Rusty nothing would keep us away from her first party.
Listen, Perry. Al, I'm sorry, but I'm on the spot here. You think I get a kick out of having my reporters used as footmen? Mrs. Pettingstall's a bad little girl.
Bad little girl.
She's a gadfly sent to try us. I'm sorry, but it's all part of this crazy news business, and she is the wife of the managing director. Now, please, Perry, there's nobody to send. Please.
I can't. Rusty will send me packing.
Oh, she'll understand. She's a newspaper woman.
Oh, no, not tonight she isn't. Tonight she's a kid having her first Christmas party.
You'll just be a little late. Here, I'll give you a petty cash slip. Get upstairs, cash it before 5. How much? The sky's the limit.
All right. $1,000.
I said the sky, not the stratosphere.
You want your stinking goats, don't you? How do you know what I'm going to run up against? I mean, I may have to buy them from the zoo.
All right. Here. If you need any help, call me.
Oh, thanks. And you call Rusty. I haven't got the nerve. She'll think I'm drunk.
Oh, all right.
Call her up and say you sent me out to get 2 goats and a red wagon. Oh boy, she'll love you. Come on, Al.
Hey, maybe we can get 2 goats real quick.
Tex wonders where we're going to go first, I think. And I think we ought to be going to, you know, where do you go to get goats? Brooklyn.
Oh, gee, Perry, it's sure nice driving over the Brooklyn Bridge at night, ain't it?
Yeah. Holy night, silent night, where can I find 2 goats?
The old bridge looks pretty with all the lights on it and everything.
Yeah, where can I find 2 goats?
And just look at the lights on the water, Perry, and the piers. Look at that. Well, hey, Perry, look. There's a flash of flame down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, look, the pier's on fire. Look, will you?
Yeah, lovely fire. Maybe it'll burn all night. Too bad we can't
Oh,
go.
what do you mean we can't go? Are you nuts?
My dear Al, consider our position. We're in the service of the rich, and we're after goats. We're not reporters. We're lackeys. Mrs. Pettingstall would be very, very angry if we went to a fire instead of buying her 2 goats and harnessed to a red wagon.
Oh, Perry, we gotta look. It's spread. Look at the orange and yellow flame. It's like an atomic, you know.
I know. Hush, Al.
Maybe I can grab a shot. Slow down, Perry, please. Maybe I can get a shot from here.
Oh, no, Al. We must let nothing distract us from our duty. We're reporters. We're not reporters, we're butlers.
Ah, well, I got it anyway. Maybe it won't be the picture of the year, but I think it'll...
The first little goat will be silky and white, and I hope it gives Mrs. Pettingstall a bite.
Perry, would you quit singing? I knew we shouldn't have gone looking for the goats in all those bars.
Where else would you look for a goat?
Yeah, Perry. Oh, look at that taxi. Oh, look, it's an ambulance. Well, there's been an accident. Perry, slow down though. Hey, that woman, she's hurt. Come on, Perry, slow down. Let me get a picture, will you?
No. What would Mrs. Pettingstall say if she found out you went around shooting pictures of people instead of looking for goats?
Got it.
Would you stop taking pictures already?
You know what? We're lost. That's what. We're lost in Brooklyn. We'll be here for years and years.
We're not lost. If you stop taking pictures, you'd see that we are now approaching Cypress and 283rd. If our friend the bartender is correct, we're about to get our first go.
Didn't he have a number?
No. Brown Shack at the corner of Cypress and 283rd. That must be it over there behind those signs.
Ugh, is that a garbage dump or is that the goats I smell?
Okay, now, Rudolph, be a good goat, won't you? Come on.
What was he stopping for?
I don't know. Please, Rudolph, we're almost at the car. In a little while, you'll meet Mrs. Pettingsall. You'll like her.
Hey, you can't pull them if they don't wanna.
Now, look, Rudolph, I paid $100 for you. Would you please act like a $100 goat?
Oh, he's sniffing at something on the ground.
Huh?
Yeah, hey, Perry, look. Whoa, it's a body.
What?
Yeah, in a sack. Holy cow, there's a note on it.
Well, give me your flashlight. Hey. Merry Christmas from the boys.
Wow, I think I know him. Well, shine the light on his face. What? Perry, it's programmer from the DA's office.
Yeah. He had his note in the poultry racket, didn't he? I mean, Merry Christmas from the boys. What a story.
Boy and how.
Well, too bad we're busy.
Oh, come on, you're kidding, right?
I'm not kidding. Business before pleasure. We're still one goat shy. Programmer will have to wait.
Okay, but let me get a few pictures.
Well, make it snappy. All right, Rudolph, I'm going to give you one more chance. Are you or are you not going to get into the car without being kicked? Come on, Rudolph, get back there, will you? Stop kissing me. I'm driving.
Yeah, and you should have stuck to lemonade.
You should talk. Want to think of it. Who'd you call at that last tavern?
The office, text.
What'd you tell him?
Oh, nothing at all. He said Rusty had phoned and said you needn't bother coming to the party, no matter how early you got through. And I just sort of casually mentioned the fire and the Progower murder.
That'll teach him to send us out for 2 goats.
Where'd that bartender say we should go?
To a guy by the name of Constantine Buwana Casa.
Huh?
Just a couple blocks more.
Oh, now what's the matter with Rudolph?
I believe he's slightly loaded. He downed a whole can of beer, you know, what that barkeep gave him.
Yeah, most likely it's the can. He downed that too.
Mr. Buwanakasa?
Yes, sir?
Well, my friend here and I, as curious as it may seem, are seeking to purchase a goat.
Yeah, a goat.
Yeah, a goat. Jerry, the bartender at Mike's Tavern, he said you had goats.
You make a Christmas a joke, huh?
Oh, no.
You come in. We got a company, drink a glass of wine. Everything should be all right. Christmas time, everybody should feel okay, yeah?
Any time at Christmas Eve, this might be a gag. But it's dead on the level, brother. I gotta get another goat. Now, have you got one?
Yeah, we ain't kidding.
This is no funny business?
Honest.
All right. Come with me.
You do have goats, don't you?
Sure, I got a goat, sir. Paolo and Francesca. A man and a wife. Nice goats. Good goats. You like goats?
Oh, sure. We love goats, don't we?
Oh, yeah, sure. Especially on Christmas Eve. We love the goats.
It's in here, in the shed. Here, Paola and Francesca.
Well, come on, let's go then.
Oh, hold on, you ain't even bought them yet.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Buwanakasa, how much for the big one?
Marco Bergoni, I tell you, this is Paolo and Francesca. These are husband and a wife. You'll sell a wine, you married man. I think you know that.
Well, forgive me. You're right. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, Yeah, they look so pretty. They're in love.
Look, Mr. Bawanakasa, I've got a goat outside in the car.
Yes?
Yeah, the swellest goat you ever saw, Rudolph. He loves everybody.
Oh, crazy about everybody.
Okay, so how about a deal, huh? I buy Paolo and Francesca, and you take Rudolph in a swap. What do you say? You can have one swell, loving goat and some cash. Everybody sees a happy. How's about it? What do you think?
I don't want just a one goat.
No?
No.
What's the matter with having one goat?
What's the good of one goat except to another goat?
Except to... look, Mr. Bawanakasa, it's a deal. How much?
I'm not sure I want much to sell anymore.
$300.
Ah, chief, because he's a good. Paolo and Francesca is yours. Come in the house. We have some wine. It's a party. We sing a song. We lift the ceiling.
I knew it. We shouldn't have stayed at Bawanakasa's party so long. I just knew it.
Oh, Marie.
Perry, please stop, will ya?
All right.
Look, if I don't eat soon, I'm gonna die. We got the goats. We got 3 goats, in fact. Let's go eat and get them up to Mrs. Pettinsall's. Will you shut up, Rudolph? And you too, Francesca, will you pipe down? Holy smokes, we're up to our neck in goats. What are we gonna do with 3 goats, Perry?
What are you gonna do?
If we don't eat soon, Perry, I'm gonna be sick. You know something, Perry? I wouldn't have blamed that waiter if he'd socked you in Russian caviar. In a dump like this? Are you kidding?
3, 2, 1, black.
I'm sleeping now. Please do not disturb. Allow me to sit here with my head in my hands and suffer. Oh, stop nudging me, Al. Stop nudging me.
Good evening, all. Mind if I join the party?
Oh, Rusty.
Hello, Perry. I don't suppose you'd mind if I sat down?
You're sore.
Oh, not at all. Oh, it's been a perfect Christmas Eve.
How'd you find us?
You left a trail a blind man could follow. When I saw your car parked outside with 3 goats in the back seat, I sort of figured you might be in here.
Oh, don't be sore, Rusty.
Sore? Why should I be sore?
What are you doing away from the party?
There is no party.
Yeah, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
Coming up.
I'm working. Everybody's working. There's never been a Christmas like it before. Prograuer was murdered. Prograuer of the DA's office.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Well, I'll fancy that.
Yeah, it also so happens that Pier 547 in Brooklyn blew up.
Not really.
Harry, why do you drink?
Because they sent me out on Christmas Eve to buy 2 goats and a red wagon.
Oh, have you got the wagon?
Huh?
The wagon, the red wagon.
Oh, I haven't got the wagon.
Well, I have. That's one reason I'm here. Tex figured you'd forget it.
Well, where is it?
Outside of my car.
Oh, Rusty, you're wonderful.
Oh, am I?
Hey, we got 1 goat too many, Perry. Yes.
Oh, you noticed that too, did you? Isn't Mrs. Pettinsall going to be surprised?
Oh, what's the matter with them now?
Well, they're frightened.
Now listen, goats. You're out of the elevator. All you gotta do now is walk down this nice, quiet hall here. See? That's it. just walk slowly down the hall to the apartment number 3. And stop kissing me. Oh, look, Rusty, Rudolph loves me.
Oh, it's 11:15. The Pettinsols will be home in 15 minutes.
All right, Vogel, you take Paolo.
Okay.
Rusty, you grab Francesca.
Up you go.
And now for you, Rudolph.
Whoever's at the door is in for an awful shock.
Oh, you ain't kidding.
Rudolph. Oh, Rudolph, you love me. Are you kissing me? Merry Christmas, Rudolph, the sweetest little goat in the whole wide world.
Good evening. Good heavens!
You're the Pettinsall butler?
I am, sir, and I might ask, what are you?
Hey, come on, move. We got goats. You got a bathroom with a sunken tub? Hold still there, Rudolph. There, I guess you're clean there.
Oh, they both look like fluffy little lambs.
But little Rudolph here doesn't deserve a bath after smashing the Pettinsall mirror.
Oh, he couldn't help it. It was the first time he'd ever seen himself with that mean expression on his face.
Mm-hmm. Hold still, Rudolph. It'll be dry in a minute. Now, good boy. Hand me another towel, will you, Rusty?
You've used 5 already. My gosh. This bathroom looks like a nightmare.
Attaboy. Well, you can't deliver dirty goats to Mrs. Pettinsall. Say, he's real cute when he's clean, isn't he?
What's Vogel doing?
Making a harness out of necktie.
There, he's done. Let's get him harnessed to the wagon and get the heck out of here before the Pettinsalls arrive.
Yeah, okay. Come on, Rudolph. You look swell. Well, come on, Rusty. Open the door. Oh, hey. Wow, this is some dump. How's the harness coming out?
I used Mr. Pettinsall's neckties to make it. See, look at it. Swell, ain't it?
Oh, Al, yeah, that's the nicest harness I've ever seen.
Yeah, okay. Oh, wow, did you ever see a tree like that in your whole life?
Never, and I never will. I'll never, ever have a Christmas like other people. Never.
Come on now, let's get him harnessed.
Oh, there.
Uh-huh.
Cinched up, red wagon and all.
Yeah.
Now, don't they look cute?
Paolo and Francesca, and White. It makes me want to cry. What do they do in that tree?
Oh, looks like to me it's dinner, a little at a time.
Rudolph! Darn you anyway, Rudolph.
Perry, look out. He'll break the other one.
Holy cow, wait. Shh, hold it. Here come the Pettinsalls.
Oh my! Oh my! What's going on in here? What's going on? My face. Both of them? Both of them? What's the meaning of this? Who are you people? Alan, are these people from the paper?
I believe they are, dear.
Get out of here, all of you, you hooligans, you're drunk.
I beg your pardon, we're not drunk.
Of course you are. Otherwise, what's the meaning of the third animal?
It's a spare?
A spare? Is that supposed to be funny? Will you please leave? Alan, I expect you to deal with these people tomorrow.
Oh, Rusty, I believe Mrs. Pettinsall is sore.
Oh, is she? Well, so am I. Mrs. Pettinsall, you're all through with Harry Brown now, aren't you?
I don't believe I know who you are.
Well, you're through with him. He's drunk and he's dirty, and besides, he served your purpose. He got you what you wanted, 2 goats and a red wagon on Christmas Eve. No other man in town could have done it tonight, or would have.
Get out of here.
You've been using our office and our staff to do your dirty work for the last 5 years.
Well, I just never.
Run errands, fetch and carry, fix things for you, play nursemaid to you. Well, that's out as far as we're concerned.
Well,
I suggest that when you go to replace us, you go to an employment agency that furnishes trained servants. It will be nice to know that you can call up the office when you need an extra butler. Come on, boys. Come on, Rudolph. Let's get the hell out of here. I can smell something that has nothing to do with goats.
well, I've never before heard such.
No, my dear. Good night, Mr. Count, Mr. Vogel, Mr. Brown.
Let's get out of here. Whew, we got rid of Al.
Yeah.
Now if we could only get rid of Rudolph.
Well, I called up the zoo.
Well,
They didn't want to go.
oh.
So I called up the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
What on earth for?
I don't know. I thought maybe because it was Christmas Eve, they might make an exception.
So what do we do with him?
I don't know, but I'm not going to abandon Rudolph on some cold, vacant lot. He's got a right to Christmas, too.
Where will we take him?
I don't know. I guess we'll just wander around Brooklyn with him until we die of old age. Hey, don't kiss me while I'm driving, Rudolph. Love me, Rusty.
I know. I do too.
Do ya?
Uh-huh. But for heaven's sake, let's get some coffee. I'm perishing with the cold, Perry. Look, there's a place. Come on, stop.
All right. Do you think you love me as much as Rudolph loves me?
I think I do.
Okay, then. I'll buy you some coffee. Get Rudolph out on your side, will you?
Can't he stay in the car?
Rudolph's got a right to his Christmas, too. Attaboy, Rudolph. Go with Rusty. That's a good fella.
Come on, Rudolph. Good old Rudolph.
Rusty, honey, I just couldn't leave Rudolph without a home on Christmas Eve. It wouldn't be right.
I know. Do you suppose we'll have to keep him forever?
Here we are. All right, now, sit down, Rudolph. Sit down behind us and shut up.
Hey, you can't bring a goat in here.
Oh, yes, we can. It's Christmas Eve. Coffee and donuts for two and some wheat biscuits for Rudolph.
Is that what goats eat?
Well, that's just one of the things. And leave him in the box. He'll eat the box and all, and he'll be hysterical when he gets to the biscuits after all that cardboard.
All right, here you are.
Thanks. Here you go, Rudolph. Now, don't let me hear a peep out of you.
No, I've seen her with some donuts and coffee coming up.
Hey, why the sad face, kid?
Oh, Perry, I'm an awful fake. I've loved every minute of this.
No fooling?
Uh-huh. I was mad because you wouldn't take me with you.
It's a lousy racket, but we love it. I guess we're out of it now, though, huh? We haven't got a job, right, Rusty?
Oh, I think we have. Remember when Mr. Pettisol said goodnight?
Yes?
He winked at me.
No kidding.
Uh-huh. He's been wanting to tell her off for years.
I'll bet.
Perry, can't you remember anything that happened tonight?
Some of it.
Well, you know that there's a bonus waiting for you at the office?
A bonus? What for?
For your work on the Pier 547 explosion. Vogel took a picture of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, he also took a picture of the demise of some Brooklyn alderman's wife in a taxi accident, and half a dozen of Probauer's body.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Vogel phoned the office around 6 and said if we would go to the address he gave us and look behind some signboards, there'd be something for us. And there was. On top of Probauer's body were half a dozen photo plates and a note from Vogel with the captions. They're all over page 1 right now.
Well, I'll be good old Vogel. I tried to make an honest flunky out of him, but I guess he's just a newspaper man at heart.
So, you see, everything's all right.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Now, if we could just get rid of Rudolph.
Right.
Hey, mister, give me 2 coffees and 2 donuts to go.
Okay. Rusty, look.
What?
That kid. Hey, Sonny. Sonny, come here, will you?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Say, how would you like a goat for Christmas?
Her?
Him.
Honest?
Honest.
You me just take him?
Right now. You wanna?
Gee, do call.
Call him Rudolph.
Gee, thanks, mister. Thanks a lot. Come on, Rudolph.
Well, we've done it, Rusty. We've done it. Rudolph has a home. Merry Christmas, darling.
Harry.
Hey, cut out the kissing stuff. I run a respectable joint here.
Just heard Legends Old-Time Radio Players in "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" by Paul Gallico. Today's cast includes Sam Van Zandt as Perry Brown, Bruce Jeanette as Al Vogel, Cynthia Edwards as Rusty, Rosie Lee Allen as Mrs. Pettinsall, Matt Elmore as our NBC announcer, and yours truly, Erzat Zabulians. Your friendly go-go. Our show's been directed by Dan Odom, and soundscape and music by Bob Brown, with audio by Bob Boynton and Riley Blackman.
Keep your dial on this station for a Christmas stocking full of entertainment. You'll find a Merry Christmas all day long on NBC. Matt Elmore speaking. Now stay tuned for James Melton and the Harvest of Stars. This is the National Broadcasting
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Legends 2022 Holiday Untold. Special thanks to our videographer, Dave Belici, our sound and music crew, Bob Brown, Bob Boynton, and Riley Bletchman, and to the wonderful staff here at the Basque. They are great. A Merry Christmas and a happy and healthy and prosperous New Year to you all, and please drive carefully going home. There are lots of crazy people out there. And go.